Well, joining us on Newsnight to discuss the deepening crisis or turmoil that the PDP is experiencing, we have the Deputy National Legal Advisor, Osuoha. He joins us now. Glad to have you join me on Arise News.
Thank you for having me.
I don't know. The word to use with what is happening to PDP is, for me, is smelling. That's the word that comes readily to me. Let's start it this way. PDP says, from what I have seen reading, the convention will go ahead in spite of the court's judgment, even though they said they will appeal. Give us a brief on that.
Thank you so much. That brings us to the fact that, you know, in Nigeria, in the past, we always say that our democracy is developing, that we are still learning. But today, our democracy has come of age. And for you to know, in a democratic society, it must try by the rule of law. You cannot rule in anarchy, in a disorderly atmosphere. So when you're talking about democracy, the rule of law, extant laws, you must obey them. So we're not talking about the convention, the planned convention. The court has ruled on that there was a matter that came up in the Federal High Court. And the court gave judgment and ruled that that convention is put on hold. That is put on hold until the proper things are done. That is obeying the instant laws. The Constitution of Nigeria is the ground norm of all our laws in Nigeria. We have Electoral Act that guides all elections and the parties, political parties in Nigeria. Then we have our Constitution of the PDP. And that PDP Constitution is binding on all the members of the party and all the organs. So when you're talking about convention, the court was so emphatic and said that it can only be, the convention can only take place when everything has been done properly. And even bad INEC, that INEC should not observe or do anything with the party except the party obeys the rule of law. Are you hearing me? So that's why I say that convention is not the issue now. The issue should be how to put our house in order. The court has ruled on it. So impurities, it should not be allowed in Nigeria.
Let me ask you straight out.
Go ahead.
With the court's ruling,
Yes.
if the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted from what the court says, do you have enough time for the convention to go ahead? In other words, do you sincerely think that the convention will hold?
Our party must have to survive. The party is there. We have to do everything possible to make sure that we go ahead and do things properly, like I've said. The court, even the judgment, if you read the judgment, it's so clear.
Yeah.
It said that all the notices that's supposed to go to INEC must be issued by the national secretary.
That's why I asked you. That's why
and also, the court said that even the INEC, there's notice you give to INEC.
21 days.
Are you hearing me? And there are other things you need to do that even the congresses that have not taken place in some states must have to be conducted.
So in fact,
in accordance with the law.
I can say,
are you hearing me?
Even based on what you've just said, I can then infer, because this is 1st of November. It's supposed to hold on the 15th to 16th. And you're saying 21 days. So from what I can infer, that convention isn't going to hold.
That's what brings us to the issue of leadership.
Yeah, but
the party is having a problem in leadership.
That's where I'm going to now.
Our acting national chairman, the chairman Damagu, has failed in his duties.
What's all this back and
Are you getting
forth?
my? He has failed in his duties.
Can you listen? What's all this back and
There's
forth?
incompetence in his side.
What's all this back and forth suspension in the party? That's what I'm talking about now. It's all a mess. PDP seems to be its own nemesis, digging its own grave. What is back and forth? Anyanwu was suspended, you were suspended. Then we hear again that your team has also suspended Damagun. You have a new acting chairman.
The suspension you're talking about, even that they mentioned my name, I read it in the social media.
Okay.
Because there are processes and procedure of doing things. The only suspension I know that took place is the emergency meeting that was held by NWC, that was conveyed and summoned by the national secretary, who has the constitutional duty to do that. and they have suspended the national chairman for his incompetence and then the lack of leadership that he has shown to our party. Look at what is happening with our party, to the extent that about more than 6 governors have visited our party. Everybody is crying because of incompetence, because of bad leadership. And then look at even mismanagement. So they have suspended him and they have appointed the national vice chairman, North Central, Abdurrahman Mohammed, as the acting chairman. That's the only suspension I know. Okay. Because even you're talking about suspension, where did they get to know that I was suspended? I did not commit any offense. And nobody even summoned me or even told me that there was offense I committed. Okay, even in law, there was no fair hearing. Okay. I didn't hear anything. What I saw in the social media that the national secretary, the acting...
All right. All right. Okay, Chiku, do you people sit down to think, both your camp and the other camp that you said they didn't do a real suspension, that you're practically handing over to the ruling party a win? I mean, that's what you're doing. I mean, why I'm asking that is, why is it so hard for supposedly mature men who should be leaders to sit on a table and disagree to agree? What you people are doing is disagreeing to disagree.
That is where I say there's leadership deficit in our party. This tenure of Ambassador Damagu is horrible, it's embarrassing, it's unfortunate. I gave an interview in Channel where I pointed out, before even this court judgment, I gave an interview where I said that we are shooting ourselves on the leg and we are laying booby traps because we start complaining and even always accusing the ruling party APC that they want to undermine us and destabilize us when we are not doing things properly in accordance with the law, the extant laws of the land. And it now came to the court. The court now held and gave the judgment. It was unambiguous and told us that we must do things properly in accordance with the law. We must obey the rule of law, the extant law. Do you know that even in court, the court there was some issues that were formulated by the court and he resolved all those issues. One was jurisdiction, because when they came to court, they were asking for jurisdiction, thinking that this matter belongs to the internal affairs of the party. Then the court said no. We are not dealing with internal affairs of the party. It's not all about administration or management of the party or even positions in the party. This is all about the people. The plaintiff brought a matter saying that the laws are being violated, that people are being denied their right and excluded in the party. That is what happened. And let me tell you, even if you look at it, you see that there are a lot of things we need to put right. Do you know that even the court had to talk, they said something about the status of the man who purportedly claimed before that he was the national vice chairman of Southeast, Ali Odefa, who was expelled by his word. And the court upheld that expulsion. The court now said in the last judgment that he is no longer a member of the party. He should not function in any position of the party, but he's still being allowed by the national chairman to be attending next meetings.
All right, listening.
So when somebody that was expelled by the party, the court upheld the expulsion, and you allow him to attend next meetings and other functions of the party, what are you trying to portray?
Now,
is it not whatever decision you take there or resolution will be null and void? That's why I tell you that we need to do things properly.
Good. Now, listening to you.
Okay.
Even right here on my seat.
Yes.
The way you're sounding is telling me... okay, let me ask you this question.
Go ahead.
Are you and the other side at all thinking, how can we sit down? Are we even interested in correcting the anomalies we're seeing? Are we willing to jaw? Because from the way you're sounding, it looks to me like you're not even willing to jaw to get the party.
This question is so pertinent and very important. We were having, if there were issues in the party, there were some crises, and people approach the court. The law in Nigeria says if you are aggrieved, the only place you seek redress, you don't take laws in your hand. There's no self-help in Nigeria. You approach the court. They went to court, and the court gave this pronouncement that we should maintain rule of law. We should do things in our court properly so that we can do our convention, we can do things properly. It's not when you go and do convention and you didn't follow the rule of law. It has happened in Zamfara before and even in Plateau. And two people will go to court and challenge it and they will nullify everything you have done. So I expected our chairman to come and call a meeting, bring everybody together. There should be reconciliation and the negotiation like you are talking about. Well, what I heard was from them going to social media and said they will expel the national secretary. Critical position, national secretary, national legal advisor, national organizing secretary. You think you can exclude them and still do things properly in the party? No, it is not. It's an aberration. So that's why I said these are incompetency in the side of our national chairman and other of his cohorts, those people that are working with him, those few members of the NWC who are working with him. I begin to see that maybe they were planted to destroy the party. It could even be the ruling party that we're accusing that maybe brought them to destabilize and destroy the party. Because otherwise, a right-thinking human being who is, if you're the leader, there's leadership qualities. If you're leading a party or even in a home, you use diplomacy. There are a lot of things you use to handle issues. You are a chairman of a party and you think you can exclude the national legal advisor, you expel him, the national organizing secretary who has a duty. All of us were elected, don't forget, in the same day in the national convention in 2021. Are you hearing me? And you think you can exclude the national secretary that is so fundamental, even his functions and duties. The court heard that any notice that you might send to INEC must be endorsed by the national secretary. All the correspondence, in fact, he holds the seal of the party. In fact, he is the one who says the annual report of the party. He does it. And you think you can keep him aside. That's why I say impunity cannot work.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Deputy National Legal Advisor, PDP. Glad to have you. Like I told my friend the other day that he was vibrating. But what you're doing today is also, I mean, for your members and even for the country, one hopes that leaders, PDP will come together, sit down for the sake of even the nation. We're talking about
exactly. We need to have an opposition party. Yes.
We'll leave it there. Thank you so much for being on Newsline.